Yes, so the recording is on. So now I can share the presentation. So I hope you can see the presentation. Again, if not, feel free to type anything in chat. There is our manager who will help you to fix your technical problems. So today we're going to talk about speaking. Yes, the topic of our webinar is teaching speaking to ESL learners. So we will talk about speaking in general. We will talk about the key concepts for teaching speaking, teaching techniques to be used in a speaking class, and of course we will talk about the role of a teacher in a speaking class or while conducting speaking activities. Also, the most important thing that I'd like to share with you are successful, some useful activities that I personally tried, and our teachers usually use them a lot and very often. So let's start. So what is speaking? Speaking, of course, I do hope that all of you know that speaking is a productive skill. And among all the skills that we develop in students, which are writing, listening, reading, and speaking, speaking is considered the main skill. First of all, because it is the first means for communication. And one more thing, for example, I hope that all of you agree, yeah, that speaking is the most important, first of all, because it helps us to communicate. One important thing here, for example, I have met such an interesting question recently. How would you ask a person to know whether he or she knows the language? What would you ask? You would probably ask, do you speak English, yeah, or do you speak German or whatever? So your question will be, do you speak, yeah, anything else, nothing else. For example, you would never ask, do you write in English, or can you read in English, or whatever. You will surely ask, do you speak English, yes? So let's remember this, and let's plan our lessons in that way so that we can develop speaking skills in our students. But let's not forget that all skills actually are important equally. You can see on the chart how students think about their skills, yeah, and you may see that speaking is most important here. But don't forget about other skills. All of them are important because, as I have mentioned, speaking is a productive skill. But in order to produce something, of course, you need to receive something. Of course, you need some listening and reading skills in order to read or listen to some information before you can produce something. So all skills should be developed, yeah. And writing, I personally think that writing is rather underrated nowadays, because even for speaking, writing might be important. For example, when our students need to prepare some presentations or some projects, what's the first thing they do? What do you think? You can answer it to me or to yourself. Of course, they take some notes. Yeah, they write something. So as you see, all skills are important in order to develop speaking. Yes, so I put some key points here, and I'm sure that you are familiar with them. That is fluency and accuracy. Speaking incorporates fluency and accuracy. I believe that when you assess your students, you use these two criteria while assessing them, yeah? That's fluency and accuracy. Fluency is speaking at normal speeds, without hesitations, without repetitions, without self-correction, with smooth use of connected speech. That's how we actually speak in our language one, yeah? And accuracy, it's something different. It's opposite. It's how well we can use the correct forms of grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So accuracy is the knowledge of language, while fluency is the use of language. So while teaching speaking, these two things should be we should pay attention to them to develop speaking, yes? For example, there is such a dilemma, there's such a belief that fluent students are not that accurate, and vice versa. Accurate students are not that fluent. So while you prepare lessons, you should think what you want to develop in your students, accuracy and fluency, what you need to pay more attention to on controlled practice, which help us to develop accuracy, yeah? Or freer practice, when you know that you have learned this topic for 3 lessons, and now your students are quite accurate in using, for example, some grammar structures or some vocabulary, because they know how to pronounce, they know how to use these words. And you know that now it's time to develop fluency. So now it's time for them to use this language because they know everything about this language. I've put some examples. Actually, we don't have so much time, but you will have this presentation, so you will watch some great videos of controlled practice on how you can work on accuracy while drilling with the help of chunks. Yeah. I put some funny pictures there, yeah, and would like to ask you, so you can use the chat to answer me. What do you think? What is more important, or what you as a teacher personally pay more attention to? Could you please text me in chat? So it's very interesting for me because me as a teacher, I usually want my students to speak fluently. I don't pay that much attention to their mistakes unless they are major mistakes. So you can type your messages. Accuracy, okay. Accuracy, what else? Accuracy, yeah? First fluency, then accuracy. Yes, it's more like my opinion. Yes, so what I want you to say, developing accuracy is great. It's really important because when the message, because accuracy can actually interfere the meaning of the message. As you see in the example, yeah, I got cold and I got a cold, yeah. So because this one message is not, is not accurate, the meaning is not clear. So what should the person you are speaking to think? Are you ill, or you maybe just need a coat or socks or whatever? Both are important. Yeah, thank you. So I personally think that for me, fluency is at the first place, but accuracy is also important. If it interferes the meaning of the message, then it's bad. Yeah, at this point you should interrupt your student and correct. Okay, so let's go next. Thank you for your answers. So, but when you're talking about speaking, yeah, it's also important to pay attention not only to accuracy and fluency, but to soft skills. I do believe that all of you know some soft skills, and we actually develop them during our classes, in our speaking activities, maybe unconsciously, maybe consciously, but we all develop them, yes? So there are different soft skills that we can develop in speaking, and some of them are really important because you know, when we speak in language one, we do not just speak, but we use gestures. We have different behaviors when we are listening and when we are asking, yeah? So we have different sub-skills except for just speaking fluently and accurately. So you may just look here and, for example, yeah, what is important? Repair and repetition. So we need to teach our students to repair their messages and repeat. For example, you should teach a student, okay, if you make a mistake, that's okay. You can correct yourself and repeat if a person who you are talking to doesn't understand you. For example, the same as with I got a cold. For example, he says, I got a cold, and his partner asks, oh, have you got temperature? And he says, oh, no, sorry, I got cold, yeah? So he can repeat, he or she, yeah, can repair her message and then repeat. So we should teach our students to do that while communicating in English, because they usually do that in language one. Or, for example, the sub-skill of be able to use different interactive strategies, yeah? We don't even maybe notice that how we use all this in our language one. So, for example, when we talk to a partner, I don't know, to a neighbor, to our parents, relatives, whatever, we use some interaction strategies. For example, turn taking, yeah? We wait for our turn to speak. Or, for example, we initiate some questions, or we know when it's time to respond to a question, yeah? So our task as teachers is to develop all these skills in our students when they speak English. Again, I have some great videos for you. You will get some of examples of how can we do that, yeah? Some specific examples. Okay. By the way, you can text me in chat. How often do you how often do you pay attention to developing sub skills in your students? How often do you think about what sub skill I'm developing now? Do you pay attention to them? You can text me in chat, yes or no. Okay, I do hope that you pay attention and will keep in mind that not all, yeah, every lesson, yes. I think that some of you even do it, yeah, without thinking, without even noticing that. But it's something we as teachers have it as, I don't know, some innate function, yeah, teacher functions. So, but you would ask me, okay, we know what speaking, that all theory and whatever, but what should we teach? Yeah, what should we teach so our students will be able to speak? So we know what accuracy and fluency, and from that theory, it leads us to this definition. Actually, that's the best definition I can give you, but I highlighted the main words here, yeah? So teaching speaking is to teach students to select appropriate words and sentence structures according to the proper social setting, audience, situation, and subject matter. So first of all, we need to give them the knowledge of the language. So they have some input, yeah, some input, they know some language. And then we need to teach them to use this language that they got from us, yeah. When I'm talking about the knowledge of the language, about the input that we give them, we talk about vocabulary, grammar structures, pronunciation. But then when they come to the class and need to use the language, we need to work on the intonation, on how they can use connected speech, on how can they use functional language and what functional language they should use in every situation. We should work on their intonation. So it's such a complex, yeah? Because again, as I have mentioned before and before, without any input, without the knowledge of the language, they will not be able to use it if they don't have that knowledge. So we should remember that, yeah? And how we teach is also important. Of course, I don't know, there is quite a long list of teaching techniques that we should use in a lesson, in every lesson. But here I put some techniques that are of key importance while conducting speaking activities or having a speaking class, yeah? I think if we had an opportunity for some discussions, yeah, I think that together we would complete this list with I don't know, with 50 more techniques. But let's look at this, yeah, only English. So there are some questions about certificates. Unfortunately, no, there will be no certificates, but you will get the presentation and the links, yeah? Okay, so the first one here, only English. Yes, I agree that sometimes with beginners, when you're explaining some grammar that, I don't know, that they can't find corresponding equivalent in their mother tongue, it's okay to use Ukrainian to explain. But when you conduct speaking activities, when you have speaking class, only English rule is very important, because we should remember that the main source of success in learning English is the exposure to the language. The more we receive, the more we hear, the more we will have to produce. Yeah, again, that's first. And second here, we should be like a model, like a role model for our students. We should show our example to them, yeah? They should see how to use this language in different situations. For example, even when you're in the classroom and you need to give instructions, or you need to teach them something like repeat please, or can I go out, or whatever, yeah? The more English you have in your classroom, the better result you will get. That's 100% sure. Next is waiting time. Wait time, in other words, I would say it's time for preparation. Yeah, when you ask your students questions in English, they don't always can respond you immediately, yeah? So, because they need to process their thoughts and then give you an answer. So give your students some time for preparation. At least when you ask them some simple questions, it's okay if you give them time. Wait for I don't know, even for 5-10 seconds, give them these 5-10 seconds. Do not complete their sentences. Wait for their answers, because it's very important, because next time the student will come to the lesson and he or she will know, oh, I can just keep silent and the teacher will continue my sentence. So why should I speak? No, I will not speak. So please do remember about this time for thinking, yeah? I put here impulsive and reflective learners. Of course, it depends. Of course, we have impulsive learners who are spontaneous, who can answer you immediately, who don't think a lot before saying something. That's actually as we have in language 1. Yes, some people need to think about their answers before saying. Others just say what they say without thinking too much. The same in English. So it all depends. But if you have reflective learners who need to think, you should give them this time. The next technique that is very important, that's eliciting. I do believe that all of you are familiar with it and use it. Eliciting is great. I hope you all agree with me, yeah? Asking questions, giving clues, use some leading questions instead of stating, yeah? Again, it's great. It's something that makes them speak more. The next is grouping. I put grouping here, but actually it's interaction, yeah? Interaction. Students learn to speak in the second language by interacting, that's for sure, because it's how communication usually happens in any language, in the mother tongue, in second language, or whatever. Communication always involves interaction, yeah? So the more interaction you have, the better, yeah? So don't forget about group work, peer work, mingling, whatever, different kinds of interaction, even panel discussions, yeah? They are great until there is interaction. Then I put here student-centered classes and put some numbers, yeah? I hope you all agree that teacher talking time in speaking classes should be reduced to 30% at least, yeah? And student talking time should be at least 70%. Can you think about your classes? How much of student talking time do you have in your classes usually? You can answer me in chat. I'm really happy to receive your messages, because that's, at least I know that I'm not alone here. So how much time do your students speak in class? When you have, for example, some speaking activities? Not that much, okay. Okay, so I say that it's difficult sometimes, especially with beginners, elementary learners. 50%, 40, 60 is also great. Yes, it's achievement, yeah, I agree. Then 50%, it might be an achievement if you have a big group of students, if you have elementary. So I know that these numbers are something, I don't know, most to impossible, yeah, next to impossible, but we should strive to achieve this percentage, because it's our role, yeah. Next, grading own language. I think it's clear. When you come to a class, you should simplify when necessary to grade your language, yeah, because when you use something that your students don't know, like, it will be with no result for them, like it will be useless. Feedback, I think it's not only for speaking. I think feedback is important. Yeah, 30 students in one class, yeah. Oh, it's a real challenge. It's too much, but I have very nice activity for you, speaking activity for such class. When you have 30, I will have it in suggested activities, so please just pay attention to that. I will tell you what to do with them. And feedback, yeah, feedback is important in any kind of class, in any kind of activity. Feedback is, I don't know, is also number one. I just wanted to put it number one, but it's something that occurs in every kind of activity, in every kind of class. And the last one, I'm not sure that you can see it below. It's a good rapport. I mean, relationship. Yeah, relationship with students. It might sound strange, because It's something personal, but if you have good relationship with your students, they will not, and they will feel this friendly atmosphere. They will feel more relaxed, more confident, and they will speak more. When there is tension, when there is stress, no, they will not produce a lot. They will not speak a lot. And also, so don't forget about this relationship. Yeah, I think it's also important for any kind of classes. Like it's like the rule for everyone in every class, for every teachers, not only for English teachers, but for everyone. But don't forget about when students are relaxed, when students don't feel any stress and tension, they will speak more. Yeah, it depends on how well you can use your warmers and how well in general you conduct your lesson. So let's go next. As we see, we have a lot of tasks to do in a speaking class, yeah? And I tried to think what roles we usually play in a speaking class, in general, in class, yeah? And I put some of them here. Maybe you could look at this picture and think, what are the roles I missed, I skipped here, and they're really important so that I can share with others. You can look and think of other roles. And also you can type me in chat. Maybe I can open the chat for everyone so everyone can see. So let's try. I think from now you can see messages of each other because there are very good messages. So what do you think? What are the roles can a teacher play in a class? Generator, yeah, that's right. So yeah, we can generate some, like, I don't know what exactly you mean, but I hope you mean we can generate the information, yeah, to process something even with resources or with students' answers. Yes, you can type. You can't tell me anything, but you can type in chat. A friend, yeah, a friend is what we have talked about, a friend, yeah. And about the friend, yeah, inspire students for communication, yeah, inspire them with, yeah, with, even with your own example. I agree. So I wanted also to show you one picture. I think some of you have seen this picture of scaffolding, yeah? Actually, I attended a lot of webinars, trainings, and I very often see this picture, so that's why I decided to share it with you, maybe if you haven't seen it. So scaffolding is the structures that is placed around the building. So it supports the building, and when the building becomes higher, bigger, the scaffolding, like they take it away, yeah? So the same is with learning. The more your students develop, the more they can produce, they can speak, the less your role should be, yeah? The less support they need from you. So just keep that in mind. So for example, it might be different, your lessons with elementary learners and with B2 learners. The lessons should be different, yeah? And about this teacher talking time and student talking time, yeah, it depends. It depends on the level, on the age, of course, and on the approach you're working according to, yeah? For example, in Green Country, we're lucky to have flipped classroom when students have their self-studies before the lessons. So we have more time in class for practicing because they do some controlled practice and read some new words and watch some videos about new grammar structures at home. So we have more time for practice. That's why we can allow them to speak more in class, and we need to speak less in class. Yeah. So, but just keep in mind. And also one such picture: which of these two do you think is a student, and who is a teacher? Actually, I don't have the answer to this question. What do you think? So it's just for you, just think. Yeah, I just like this question because it might have two answers. Okay, let's go next. So, and finally, yeah, all that theoretical part, yeah, maybe you have any questions. If you have any questions, you can also type in chat. You can type to me personally, directly, or in chat, and I will answer. Okay, so what is a successful speaking activity? Actually, also, a successful speaking activity should include a lot of things, yeah? So before coming to the class and give your student speaking activity, an activity that will help them to develop their speaking skills, you should check it. Yeah, you can't know for sure whether it'll be successful or not, but you can make some assumptions, yeah? You can predict. If you know your learners, if you know how well they can interact, what activities they like, what hobbies they have, you can at least predict, yeah? So first of all, you need to check whether the activity is relevant to the age and level of your students. For example, I don't know, you will probably not talk with elementary learners about some virtual tourism or I don't know, or whatever, something different or innovations in medicine or whatever. No, your activity should be relevant to their age level, yeah? The same as with kids. Be careful with children because like you should know what they're interested in. For example, you can talk about toys. You can talk about toys with young learners, with secondary school children, and with teenagers. But all these activities, they will be about toys, but they will be different. With young learners, you, for example, we talk about Lego or I don't know, something like that, about simple toys. With secondary school learners, you will talk about some more complicated toys like some gadgets or whatever. And with B2 learners, again, you will talk about something more complicated. So just check whether your activity is relevant to the age and level of your students. Then check whether your activity has the purpose of speaking, gives your students a purpose for speaking. For example, if you say to them, okay, just talk to your partner and discuss them. What should I do in order to make the silent students speak? Okay, can I answer? I think that I should answer it because, silent students, yeah, actually, you can think of how you, being a child, develop your first language, yeah? First, you had to listen a lot to your parents, and then you started speaking, yeah? You started testing some language in your speech, yeah? So you need to find out the reason why the student is silent. Maybe he's too shy. Maybe he needs more input, so more knowledge of language, yeah? Or maybe he's not good in interacting with other students, yeah? Again, because he is shy. So it's okay if your students has silent periods. It might happen. Usually it doesn't happen with language too, when they study the second language, but it might happen that some students have these silent periods, and these silent periods might be different. It might take you, I don't know, 1 week, 1 month, or even longer. So it's okay. Let the student receive more, yeah? Receive more, then he will have more knowledge and feel more confident to produce it. I don't know how old is this student, so it's difficult for me to predict what might be the reason, but it may be because of the lack of knowledge. Thank you, welcome. That's also that I have from my experience, yeah? I've met some students with this silent period in my life, and it's really difficult. You need to find out the reason, first of all. Maybe try to other kinds of interaction, maybe with other students, or just wait. It's okay. It's okay. They need just more time to receive and get more knowledge of language. Okay, purpose of speaking, yeah? If you just tell your students, okay, talk to your partner and discuss, I don't know, the sunset. Do they have the purpose for speaking? Of course not. Or, for example, you say, go around the classroom and find out who likes I don't know, windsurfing, and who likes skiing? Do they have purpose for speaking? Yes, because they need to report you who likes skiing and who likes windsurfing, or what I talked. Yeah, so you should find out whether your activity has this purpose for speaking. If not, you should change this activity for sure. Next, sufficient input. We have talked a lot about that, yeah? If your students don't have the knowledge of the language, they will have nothing to produce. So if, for example, you ask students, tell me about what you did yesterday. Students, they didn't study past simple, they didn't study routine actions, so how can they tell you if they don't have the knowledge of the language? So make sure that your speaking activity, before giving speaking activity, that your students have sufficient input, adequate input, yeah? Adequate knowledge. Interaction. Interaction, again, as I told you, the students learn to speak the second language by interacting. So that's very important. There might be different kinds of interaction, pair work, group work. Again, pairs may be closed pairs, open pairs. Try everything, yeah? Mingling activities are very great when they walk around the classroom, bump into each other, and then ask some questions. Personalization. Personalizations is when the speaking activity requires your students to share some information about themselves. For example, own opinion, own experience about their life, whatever. So it's kind of personalized questions, yeah? As they are more likely to talk about themselves than about some abstract things or some, I don't know, some non-existent characters of people, yeah? True to life and meaningful context. Yeah, again, our task as teachers is to teach our students to speak not in the classroom, but in the real life, because later, some years, like in the future, in some years, they will have to speak English in real life situations, not in the classroom. So your task is to make your classroom true to life, yeah? To create these true to life situations, maybe some problems or whatever, yeah? So think about that. I think that the list, again, it can be completed, but these, I think, the most important things are. Okay, so, and let's go to some activities that I really like. But before that, I wanted, as I promised, I wanted to show you how we, in Green Country, actually we are lucky to work in Green Country, because we have plans for all lessons, we have online platform, and our teachers' roles at the class is just to conduct and to inspire students, yeah, because we don't spend so much time on preparation, yeah, because everything is tested many times, yeah. We have tried all activities, and the best ones are left in our lesson plans. So, but the most important thing is that our students come to our classes prepared, and in such a way we can devote more time for practicing, yeah. One moment. So we call that self-study, yeah? So it's not a kind of homework, it's self-study the students do before the class, so they come to the class with the knowledge of language. It's really great, yes? And then we can just teach them how to use all that language that they studied at home. For example, yeah, I will show you. For example, that's one student, and he has self-study for every classes, for every lesson he has. So, for example, we take lesson number 4. So in the class, we will be talking about places in the city, and we'll probably teach how to give directions. So we will not spend time in the class on presenting this vocabulary, yeah, on spelling and whatever. We will have more time for practicing how to give directions, because students will come to the class with all this language. So it's really great. They can watch videos and work on pronunciation. They can do some controlled practice to memorize the words, and then in the class we will just practice, yeah. So, and what we really like to practice, how we practice, I will show you the activities, yeah. I hope you all see my screen. If not, just text me. So suggested classroom activities. When I was preparing for this webinar, I thought, what should I tell you about or what is the most important, but I decided to leave this. So role plays, why are they important and why we use them? Yeah, first of all, because we can create true to life situations. Yeah, I put some examples from our books here. There are books from our main course and from speaking course that we have in Green Kantree. So, and you may see that role plays might be different, yeah? About any situations, about any life situations. For example, seeing the doctor, or for example, breaking the ice, yeah? How to talk to a person for the first time, how to make friends. Then role plays are great because they usually require interaction, yeah, interaction with a partner. While interacting with a partner, the students can not only practice the language or functional language, they can develop their soft skills like the strategies, yeah, interactive strategies, turn taking, asking, initiating questions, responding to questions. So they are perfect. So like I think that the best activities that can be for developing speaking. Yeah? Then also a great activity that requires not so much preparation. Discussions. Discussions might be different. Yeah, they can be adapted to any age. Yeah, they can be adapted not to every level because elementary students might probably need more prompts. Yeah, I will show you in debates. But nevertheless, they will encourage the students to speak because they will have the purpose for speaking. Yes, they need to decide something or they need to express their opinion. Again, opinion means personalization. Yeah, so it's great because they will have an opportunity to express their own ideas, their own opinions. One great thing that you can use for discussions and make your students feel relaxed and more confident, that's brainstorming. I'm sure that you're using this technique. It's a kind of leading to discussion, yeah? Like to set the scene, to encourage learners to think more freely and creatively. And it's great that you can conduct this brainstorming either in offline classroom or in online classroom, yeah? In offline classroom, you would probably use the board and put their ideas on the board, and then when they go to their rooms and have to discuss, they have some support. They have all this. They have all these ideas on the board. They can refer to the board whenever they need. Yes, I hope you see my presentation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then in online classroom, I put some QR codes. So these are great services for online brainstorming. Yeah, Menti.com, I'm sure that you know it, and Whiteboard.fi. It's really great. It's really great because it allows you to create your own classroom, divide students into breakout sessions. They can create their own boards. And then when all groups are ready, you can share all their, let's say, word clouds and compare ideas. So it's really great. And then for giving feedback and getting feedback, it's also great because you can have all ideas from all groups at the same time on one board. You should really try this service. It's really great. Or you can just create a simple word cloud generator. Any word cloud generator is great. Okay. Also, I have something wrong here. One moment. I need to clean it. Yeah, I can clean it. Debates. Yeah, debates. Debates that I like because if you conduct debates with higher levels, you don't need any preparation. You can just think of any hard questions. I also give you here the link to some hard questions, examples of hard questions. Hard questions don't always promote discussion, but usually they do. What I mean by a hard question. A hard question is something when you have two options and students need to choose. For example, a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. For example, a plane or a car. For example, you have a topic of traveling. Why not? You can have debates going by car or going by plane, yeah? So it's great because debates using these hard questions can be adapted to any topic you need. Any topic, any lexical topics that you need. I will show you some kind of debates here. It's actually the material for secondary school learners. Again, you see that they have functional language. That is important, yeah? They have some prompts. You just don't give them 2 words, yeah? So it's independent traveling and booked holiday, something like that, yeah? But you give them prompts. You give them a small text that will help them to think about their own ideas, yeah? Again, interaction. Interaction is great, yeah? Purpose for speaking, because they need to decide and they need to find out who wins the debate, yeah? And one more I don't know, useful trick here is to reduce teacher and talking time and teacher's role even more. You can create a judge's table. This usually 2-3 students who plays the role of a teacher. So these students do not participate in debates, but they just watch. They just watch, and then as they decide who wins, yeah, which team wins. So they, I don't know, you can do it even more official. They go to the board and decide, okay, we think that this team wins because they provided more facts, more proofs, or whatever. So your role of a teacher will be like, it will be very small, and the teacher talking time will be even less. So try this one. It really works with, let's say, ages secondary school and high school for sure. Yeah, and I promised to tell about what to do if you have 30 students in a class and you need to develop speaking, and you need to involve all students equally. You need to practice functional language, you need to provide some interaction, and it should be interesting, and there should be a purpose for speaking, yeah? There should be some result. So if you have such big classes, try pyramid discussions. They are brilliant. So what you need, actually you don't need again much preparation, just think of a topic, decide whether your students have sufficient input, yeah, that they have enough knowledge to conduct such kinds of discussions. For example, I put an example here. Your topic is city breaks. Yeah, functional language you need to practice is phrases used to persuade and agree, disagree. So what can you do? You can give any student a card with a city name, and then when you start, you ask your students to work in pairs first and ask to persuade his or her partner to go to the city that he or she has. Yeah, then when in pair, they have one city because one student persuaded another one to go to this city. Now they need to join another pair, so they will have 4 students in one group, and now this pair should persuade another pair to go to their city, and then it goes like you join them again and again. And the result is, okay, what city we are going to for holidays, yeah? It's really great because they're really interested in the results. And again, it's not that true to life, but it might be true to life. Okay, so let me check if there are any questions. Please feel free to ask me any questions. Okay, let's go next. Yeah, and discussions, different kinds of discussions might be. Okay, let's go next. Interviews. Yeah? Interviews might be different. They can be different kinds of surveys, mazes, find someone who. We all know find someone who. That is actually a good icebreaker, and it actually can be adapted to any age and level. It all depends on how many prompts, questions, and vocabulary topic you have. Yeah, for example, I will help you. I will show you a kind of survey you can do with elementary learners. This is our material for, I think, 7 years old students. As you see, they need to work in pairs and ask their partner and put a tick or cross, yeah, or whatever. It might be different, tick or cross, or only ticks, yeah. So first of all, they have interaction. They will need to talk to their partner, because otherwise they can't do the activity. Then it's personalized, yeah, because they're talking about themselves, what they like and what they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, and what I really like in this activity, they have the purpose for speaking, and then you can provide different kinds of feedbacks. Yeah, you can ask them, tell about their partner, or what you have in common, or maybe you have different tastes or whatever. So you see, it can be adapted to any level. It depends on just on the topic and on kind of questions you have. Mazes, yes. I think you know what is find someone who. It's like, I think we all know what it is. That's why I decided to show you mazes. Why I like mazes personally? Because again, they're really interested in the result. You can't even imagine how interested they are when they have these mazes. It's something new. They have many errors. Yeah, it's a kind of treasure hunt, let's say. And when they're interested in the result, they will probably do this activity. But be careful with mazes. Usually they require answers yes or no. Yeah, of course it will not develop speaking that much. So like add one more rule. So you need to ask one more extra questions. For example, do you like traveling alone? Why? Yes, why? Don't forget about these extra questions in mazes. But they are great because they are all interested in the result. So if you have any questions, I see that there are no questions, but if you have, please feel free. Then next activity, information gap. Yeah, information gaps, of course, might be different. Why I like them? Again, because it has purpose for speaking. It has interaction. Actually, I put examples here only for pair work, but it might be mingling, it might be even group work. So any kind of interaction you can use. So information gap, it's completing gaps in timetables, schedules, or finding differences in the picture. Yeah, or for example, not differences, but what to add the picture. They need to talk to their partner to fill the gaps they have in their worksheet, yeah, in their book. For example, they need to talk to each other. They need first to create their own schedule for this weekend, and then they need to talk to their partner and find out what time is most suitable for them to meet this weekend. Yeah, they have the purpose for speaking. The activity is quite personalized because it asks about their own plans. Then you can practice functional language on how to talk about, how to arrange a meeting, yeah, whatever. You can practice dates, months, activities, whatever. And for young learners, yeah, I put an example for young learners because finding differences in the picture, you can practice I don't know, some even grammar structures, prepositions. You can practice, of course, vocabulary, whatever. Yeah, and the main point here is, of course, they have purpose for speaking because they will have the result. Okay, for example, you will ask them, okay, what have you agreed on? When and where you will go this weekend, yeah? So you will ask them for the result. It's quite meaningful and it's great. Okay, let me check whether we have time. Yeah, I would like to show you. Do you have any questions at this point? No questions? Maybe I explain or show you something more. Okay, so let's go next. Games. Yeah. Games. Games. Of course, you can use games for different kinds of activities and for speaking as well. I put different kinds of games here. Yeah, it might be board games, guessing games. My most favorite are alias, taboo words. Pictionary, when you draw and try to guess. It's great for young learners for practicing questions. When they draw something and you ask, is it a crocodile? Is it a monkey? So you can practice asking questions and responding with short questions. No, it is, or yes, it is. No, it isn't, or yes, it is. I put here a very good service. It's called AutoDraw. You can use it for Pictionary in online classroom. It's really great because even I think young learners can use it. So search, and it's very great. Then active games, why not? Some stirring activities, hide and speak. When of course you can't play hide and speak in an online lesson, but you should try it in offline classroom. It's really great activity, also for young learners. It's a kind of game. Before starting the lesson, you hide papers with different questions. It's very good activity for revision lesson. You put different questions somewhere, you hide, and you allow your students to stand up, go around the classroom, look for these papers, and when they find these papers, they need to run to you and answer this question. Again, it's a kind of controlled practice, but it's great, And what I actually like about this activity is that they do not come to you at once, like all students at once, but they come one by one, and you can pay attention to every student and even draw attention to some structures or intonation, When they read you this question and answer, you can ask them to put a stress on some words. So it's really great. It will help you to develop intonation, stress, and even pronunciation. It's perfect. But for offline classroom, of course. Again, games can be adapted to any age and level. It's great. Used to practice any vocabulary structures or even functions. And it's a kind of competition. So the students are always interested because they're usually a kind of interaction. I will show you, I think, something that is really up to now about our situation, online games, because we all know what can we do in offline classroom, but we always think how can we provide speaking games in online classroom. Also, one great service, Bamboozle, I know that you know it. We all have started using it since, I think, March or April. But it can be used not only for revising, presenting, or learning some vocabulary or grammar, but it also may be used for discussions. I give you an idea, And I tried it and it really worked. I also heard about this idea about a month ago, and I tried it, and it's really great. So what you need to do, you need to create different questions and provide the right answer or whatever. For example, here I put different questions. Our topic was again city breaks, adjectives, comparative adjectives, superlative adjectives. We learned adjectives and places in the city and different cities, like as additional material. So I put different questions about different cities using some adjectives, comparative and superlative, and I divided them into breakout sessions, gave them the QR code so they can go to this site, and there they can click on this square and got a question. So what is the biggest city in the world? What do you think? They need to discuss, express, I think that New York is the biggest city in the world. So they have some kind of discussion, and when they have decided and express their opinion, they can click on show the answer, for example, Tokyo, and they may check whether they were right or not. But again, they can discuss, they can discuss, or you can do it even open class. You may do it, of course, by just asking questions, but if you use a kind of service, online game, again, it will be more interesting. It will be, I don't know, more interesting for teenagers, students, like for young learners, for everyone. Guessing games, Guessing games are also great because, again, they give us chance to speak. Yeah, guessing game. I put here a great example. I do believe that you know what I mean. Who am I? Yeah, you can just play it as you have it in the book, or you can stick some notes on your forehead. Yeah, for example, a cat, and they need to ask. Again, it's great because they need to interact, because they need to find out. Yeah, then it helps them to develop their initiating and responding upskill, turn taking, like giving short answers for young learners. So it's really great, yeah, for any age, for any level. For teenagers, of course, you would probably ask them to write these words themselves. They can write names of, I don't know, some celebrities, and you can ask them to, again, to ask questions. Again, asking questions, it's really great practice, and you can do it with such kind of a game. And board games, okay, of course. With board games, you can practice anything you need, actually. You can practice functions, you can practice grammar structures, you can practice vocabulary, again, in speaking while producing. Yeah, it's they're also great for revision lessons, because every square can be devoted to any topics that you have covered since the start of this unit, yeah? Again, they can work in pairs, they can work in groups. You can play it online or offline. While you're playing online, you can use online dice. They can roll the dice, and it's perfect for any kind of classroom. And again, it can be adapted to any age and level. Your students will probably speak because, again, they're interested in the results. They want to go to the finish first. As you see, I have example for B2, B1 learners, and for young learners. The lesson was about describing people, words, adjectives about appearance, yeah? So they need to go and describe a person, yeah? So it's fun, and but it requires preparation, our preparation. Okay, let's go next. I think the last that I wanted, because, well, like, yes, we don't have so much time, monologues. You would probably say, oh no, it's something that does not fit my webinar, because I talked about interaction so much. But yes, the last thing that I wanted to discuss with you is monologues, using monologues in your classrooms. They are important, first of all, because they help to build confidence, and they encourage to work on pronunciation and intonation. Yeah, there might be different kinds of monologues. Is when the person speaks himself or herself without any interaction. Yeah, so monologues might be different. Projects and presentations. I think that presentations are very important for our high students, because they will soon go to universities and they will have to make a lot of presentations to prepare and to present this presentation. So that's really important. We should help them to develop the skill of giving presentation. Yeah? Then 1 minute talk, or let's keep talking. It's very good activity. That's one of my favorite ones. I will show you. Storytelling. Storytelling is very great with young learners. It might be circle story, picture stories, or story completion. Different kinds, but they are all great. So just one question, not one question, but one idea to you can think about. Of course, interaction is important. Is the best way to learn the language, because it's kind of communication, real life communication. But when your students get used to talk to each other, they rely a little bit on their partners, yeah? They know that if they keep silent, their partner will ask them something. That's why it's sometimes important to give your students, prepare a monologue, yeah? To give your students a chance to speak without a partner. So they don't feel this support from the partner. It's a kind of challenge, because when you do everything like in pairs and groups and whatever, monologues, they will help them to see how well they can do that themselves. So try try also provide these monologues, not every lesson, but at least when you have some projects or where you have some, I don't know, at the end of your course, at the end of the term, give them a chance to prepare and present. Here I'd like to show you stories. What I like to do with stories. Let me show you. So story dominoes, yes, it's great with young learners, and it's a kind of a circle story when they put the dominoes and continue the story, yeah. But you can adapt it to any age. Of course, you can put words instead of pictures there, yeah, and you can do it with words or even functional language. Oh, just create imagination and creativity, imagination, and like they will be interested in these dominoes because again, they will have purpose for speaking because they know that it should be continued. Yeah, they should continue the story. It should have the end. And they have some time to prepare. Then story completion. I also put an example of story completion here. So you might have a look. Yeah, you can have a look. When they need to complete the story, yeah, that's materials from our books for speaking, that what we like, not we like, but we sometimes do. We give them the beginning of the story and we ask them to complete the story, but not just to complete the story. We ask them to think about some alternative ending, for example, to the existing story, as you can see here, yeah? About Cinderella. They all know what the end is, but we ask them to think what an alternative ending you may create. Yeah, of course, dominoes, that's for young learners, and this kind of storytelling will make your teenagers speak, because it's, again, it has purpose for speaking. And 1 minute talk. 1 minute talk, it's a kind of activity when your students need to talk during 1 minute. Or I think you can even start with 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then maybe 1 minute. It's a kind of monologue when students need to speak themselves without any partners, so they can rely only on their knowledge and on their skills. And you can, I think, adapt it to any level and age, but be careful with this timing. Yeah, you may start with not 1 minute, but with 45 seconds or 30 seconds. And I like this activity because it really can be used in online classroom. You can use, for example, this wheel of names that we usually use for grouping students. You can use these wheels for 1 minute talk. So you can even divide them into peers or groups, give them the QR code, ask them to follow the link, to spin the wheel and answer the questions that they have. Their partner needs to control the time. Again, you may also provide not only the topics they need to talk about, but also the functional language. So, and actually that's all that I wanted to talk about today. So, and I see that we have 5-10 minutes for questions. So let me look through if you have questions. Yes, actually that is a really small portion of what we usually use in Green Kantree in our speaking course, because you know we have speaking lessons where we develop speaking skills. So this is not the main course we have, but the speaking, like when students come here to speak, to develop their speaking skills, and we have like a complete lesson, but we need to focus on speaking, and we have tried a lot, and we use so many materials. So, and that is really a little portion of what might be useful and what we tested in Green Kantree. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm really happy to receive your questions because it gives me how to say a feeling that I'm not alone here. So if you have any questions, please text. let me remind you again that we will share all these links, all these QR codes, materials, kinds of activities with you. And there we didn't have enough time, so I didn't open all these activities. So you will have even more than we have just discussed here. So you will have more of them, more videos, more examples. So maybe you have how to use songs in speaking. Yeah, let me show you. If you ask, then I think that you have 5 minutes to show. That was the last 1 minute. I think if it's interesting, if people are interested, then I should spend more time and show you. Yes, this slide. Songs and videos, yeah? Songs and chants, I would say, first of all. Chants, they help us to develop, to drill the words, to work on pronunciation, and even to help our students memorize structures, multi-word structures. So before giving students, for example, any kind of activities that you have seen today, before that we need to provide some controlled practice to work on pronunciation or how to combine words. That's why we use songs and chants. We do not only listen to the song or chat. Of course, they should sing along or repeat. You can use different kinds of drilling. For example, you can stop the song and ask them to continue, yeah? Or you can just not stop, but start from the middle and ask them to provide the beginning. Again, song is more, it shows how listening and speaking relate to each other, yeah? So we use them a lot with young learners because, as you know, some young learners can't even read. So they can only listen. The only source for them to receive a language is only through listening. And what they like to listen? Will they listen to some boring monologues? No, of course they will listen to the song. And in the song, they can even practice not only pronunciation, but they can practice intonation. For example, if you have chant with questions, yeah, we know that questions should be pronounced with different intonations, so you can practice this intonation. Or different kinds of questions have different sentence stress, so you can practice sentence stress. So for young learners, it's perfect because, again, as I told, not all of them can't even read, yeah, can even read, so they can only listen. And also videos. Videos also can be used as a speaking activity. For example, what goes next? Again, like story completion, yeah? Or what are they talking about? So you turn on the video, but you turn off the sound and you say, come on, guys, we need to guess what they are talking about and speak with their, to voice their messages, yes? So, for example, you show how two people talk about each other, or they're happy, they are sad, or whatever, and they need to voice these people. It's really, again, it's funny, and every pair, it's better to work in opened pairs here, because each pair goes to the word, you turn on the video, and you ask them to voice their messages, yeah? It's really funny. You will read, you'll have some example of chants, of songs. Also, click on this video. We use it a lot for, it's a kind of a service for making videos where students can create projects, but they need to voice their projects, yes? Again, they can practice speaking. It's a kind of monologue, it's a kind of presentation. Don't just ask them to draw and show. Ask them to make a video because they are modern children and they will probably like making a video. And more important, they will be able to listen to themselves and again think about their pronunciation, intonation, stress, and whatever. Yeah, I hope that I answered your questions, how we use songs in speaking and videos too. Let me stop sharing the screen so I can see. I have one more question here. I don't know where I will answer it. I didn't understand about domino game. Could you explain how to play this game? So how to show? You know what is a simple domino, like an ordinary domino? So one picture is here and another picture is here. So you need to to join two similar pictures. Yeah, for example, you put the first domino. Yeah, first picture is zoo and the second picture is, for example, elephant. Yeah, and you start the story as a teacher. Once upon a time we went to the zoo, and then the person who has elephant, who has a domino with elephant, should put this domino, yeah, like to double this elephant and continue the story. And there we saw some elephants. He or she has an elephant. Hello. And one more picture, for example, ice cream. Yeah. And the second person and the next person who has a domino with ice cream should put this ice cream on another ice cream and say, but then we decided to eat some ice cream or whatever. So you play it as a simple domino, but with pictures, or with high levels you can play with words. And when they place these dominoes, they need to continue the story. Actually, it requires preparation because you need to prepare these dominoes, but you can find a lot of such games on the internet. Just browse, and very important thing that you can adapt this game to any topic that you need. You can even put some grammar structures here. It doesn't matter, whatever you need. What's your favorite and the most productive activity that develops speaking skills? I told that I really like role plays. I don't know why, but I think that role plays give our students a chance to test their language in real life situations. So we usually try to create role plays that are really true to life, and I think that the main point is not to talk about some abstract things, but to talk about real situations. For example, your flight is delayed, or you can't find your money at the shop and you're staying at the cash desk. Some problem-solving situations, and they need to, for example, to ask the cashier to wait, or they need to find out some information about the schedules or whatever. So, but I think that all of them are great. Thank you, welcome. Yeah, for me, role plays, and it's great that you can conduct them online, offline, and you don't need even some much preparation. How to make classroom language to the teacher uses true to life. How to make classroom language the teacher uses true to life. I think that classroom language itself is true to life. For example, I'm sorry, I need to drink some water, or I'm sorry, I need to the toilet. Yeah. So try to think what situations might happen except for their target language, except for the target, what situations might happen in the classroom. Again, we should think about online classroom or offline classroom. In offline classroom, we all know this classroom language like, may I go out, sorry, I'm late, or may I drink some water, or can you repeat, please, or I don't understand, or whatever, yeah? So we know this, I think it's true to life, because in their lives they will ask this question a million times. Can you repeat, please? When they will talk to a native speaker, they will probably ask this question. Can you repeat, please? Can you speak slowly? Or whatever. I think that the main point here is to think about some classroom language that we need to use in online classrooms. Did you think about how we can adapt classroom language to online learning? For example, I'm sorry, I had problems with the sound, or could you share it again, please? So in such situations that we are in now, I think that classroom language should be a little bit adapted to online classes, yeah? So, and then it will be true to life, because they will probably ask someone in real life, I'm sorry, I didn't have internet, that's why I didn't call you on Skype yesterday. For example, they will tell it to some colleagues or whatever. Or maybe you have any other thoughts about this topic. Thank you too. Thank you for your question. Okay, and I think that we need to finish. So I was really glad to see you all here. I was really happy to receive all your questions. And it's really great that we had some kind of interaction, because interaction is important. Thank you so much. Yeah, interaction is important. And I'm happy that we will share this recording with you, and you will take some screenshots, and you will use these materials in your classes, and you will make your speaking classes even more speakable speaking. Yeah. So goodbye. Have a nice evening. Thanks for joining. Thank you a lot.